what is good? What is up? Welcome to today's video. If you're new here, my name is Rhea and welcome to today's video. Hello everyone, what is good? What is up? Welcome to today's video. If you're new here, my name is Rhea and I hope you all are doing well and are safe wherever you are in the world, especially now with everything that's been going on lately. My heart goes out to everyone who's been very, very deeply affected with the recent turn of events, and I just want to let you know that our prayers are with you. Today's video holds a very, very special place in my heart because this is the first story that I want to share that is directly related to my manifestation board. So if you haven't seen my previous video, I go into more detail about why I created a manifestation board, how I did it, and also some of the different things that I added to my board that I want to achieve in 2022. But this particular story is very important to me, not only because of the reason why it was in my manifestation board in the first place, but because it almost didn't happen. I'm gonna share with you guys just how close I was to not even achieving this. So without any further ado, here is my story about manifesting my 2022. So I guess the best way to start this video is to just show you what I manifested. So here it is. I finally got my first tattoo, but this tattoo is very special to me because this was done by a nambabatok, or a traditional Filipino tattoo artist from Buscalan village in Kalinga. I remember that this was one of the first things, or no, I believe it was the first thing that I wrote on my list, and up until this day, I honestly still can't believe that I have it. I can't help but smile like an idiot whenever I see it. I absolutely love it, and the person who did this did an amazing job, and it's just beautiful. I really love how it turned out. So I've always wanted to get a tattoo, but I knew that if I was eventually going to get one, I wanted this to be very meaningful to me, from the design all the way up to where it was placed. I personally viewed tattoos as a form of body art in a way that I wanted it to look like as if it was a part of my body. You know, I hope that makes sense. And I also wanted my tattoo to be placed somewhere where I can proudly show it on my skin. And where else is more obvious than on your arm, like, hi, my name is Rhea, you know, nice to meet you. I didn't want to hide my tattoo in any way, and I wanted people to see it because I'm so proud of it. Honestly, I've been fascinated by the tattoo artists of Kalinga and of course Apawang-od for the longest time, and the history of the Kalinga tattoos are so rich and hold so much meaning. And even though it is a lot more common now for people to have these tattoos, the whole process is still very, very significant, because they do say that getting this type of tattoo is a lot more painful compared to getting a needle tattoo, which I don't know if that's true because I never had one before, but I knew that one, I wanted to meet Apawang-od. I mean, she is a living legend herself. And two, I wanted to get my first tattoo from Buscalan village. You know, up until this point, I was researching about the different designs, their meanings, and it really made me want to get one even more. But the number one question that kept running through my mind was, how the was I gonna do it? We were in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, we technically still are, but you know, were there even trips going there? Where exactly is Buscalan village? I didn't know where it was. I barely get out of Manila, so Buscalan village where? So many questions that I did not have answers to, but you know, while I was creating my manifestation board, I kind of just put my trust in the universe that one day I will be led to exactly how I would be able to manifest this. And boy, oh boy, did the universe not disappoint. Up until this day, I am still bewitched, beguiled, bewildered just how everything perfectly aligned. A couple of weeks before, things started to get rolling, I was asking a bunch of my friends who have been to Buscalan village and have gotten their tattoos there, what was their itinerary, how did they get there, what transportation did they use, etc., etc. And they were honestly super duper helpful, but none of the information that they were giving me was sinking in. It was like in one ear, out the other, nothing was processing. And at this point, the idea of getting a tattoo from there was kind of slowly fading to the back of my mind, and I started making excuses about, putting it off. Like, hey, we're in the middle of a pandemic, I'll get it when things get better. It was during these times that I realized just how important it was for me to have my manifestation board sitting right there in front of me for me to see every single day. I couldn't help but smile every time I see that small photo that I printed out of Apo Wang Od, and honestly, it kept, me wanting to get a tattoo, meeting Apo Wang Od herself. It kept that desire alive. And unbeknownst to me, one day while I was randomly scrolling through my Instagram, I came across this ad. I immediately sat up from my bed, checked out their page, downloaded their app, which is actually pretty good. You guys should definitely check it out. And I looked at their schedule for Kalinga in February, and they had 2 schedules. The first one was way too soon. It was actually the weekend that was coming up, and I definitely couldn't book that one because we are responsible people at work, but there were like 5 or 6 slots that were available. And the second schedule, which was around 3 weeks away, which works perfectly for me, but there was only 1 slot left. So I thought to myself, the universe is playing a very, very tight game right now. Of course, the practical side of me didn't book it. I didn't want to decide something like this on a whim, so I did the most responsible thing to do when faced with a sudden decision. I went for a walk. During the entire time that I was out for my walk, I couldn't stop thinking about that 1 slot that was left. There was, a skip in my step. I was smiling behind my mask, of course, and I said to myself, if that slot was still available when I got home, I would book it. So I practically ran home, checked the app. Yes, that slot was still available. I booked it, I locked it in, and I got the notification saying, hey, you're joining us in Kalinga in this so-and-so date. I knew that if I was going on this trip, there would be a very, very, very high chance that I would not know anyone on this trip. But honestly, that kind of made it even more exciting. And this was definitely something that Rhea from 6 months ago would have never done, which kind of made it a little bit more fun. Long story short, your girl was going on a trip to Kalinga, and it was honestly one of the most spontaneous things that I have done in a while, and I was super, super duper excited. Up until the day that we actually had to leave Manila. I will never forget that day, because what happened on that day made me nearly want to back out. I work night shift, and on the day that we were scheduled to leave Manila, I was still working. It was around 6 a.m. things started to wind down at work, and my friends who worked Philippine time, you know, were starting to wake up. We were starting to like greet each other on our little group chat, and one of them sent a screenshot saying that a couple of our friends were in an accident. They were in a van on their way to the airport in Palawan, and they were really close to the airport. It was around 4 a.m. when the driver fell asleep on the wheel and they crashed. Two of them were pretty banged up, but they were conscious. One of our friends, you know, she had a fractured hip, and one of our friends didn't make it. We all couldn't believe it. We were so stunned, and I just remember staring at my screen for I don't know how long. Just, I couldn't move. I felt as if this was like such a bad joke, and that this couldn't be real. But it was. One of our friends managed to get in contact with them, and they confirmed everything. Once I managed to snap myself out of this trance that I was in, I suddenly felt very, very scared. I felt fear grip me, and I felt paralyzed. I mean, that day, I was supposed to go in a van, travel how many hours away with a bunch of people that I don't even know. I was thinking to myself, this must be a very, very bad omen, and that I probably should just like, no, back out. But deep down inside, I knew that I really, really wanted to go. But the question was, could I? I ended up messaging TakeFive on their messenger. You know, I was asking them about the driver, the van, you know, all levels of paranoia I was feeling. And, you know, props to whoever handles TakeFive socials, especially their Facebook Messenger, because they were able to, you know, calm me down to some degree and, you know, reassure me that they have everything taken care of. But of course, up until the time that we left the house to go to the meetup point, I was still very, very undecided whether I would still push through with the trip. At this point, I didn't care if I had to pay the full amount and not go. I literally felt fear like closing in on me, and I felt so stuck. But then a thought came into my mind, and I couldn't help but think that if I back out now out of fear, I would regret this for the rest of my life. I got into a car crash before, but I still love to drive. I've gotten bitten by a dog, but now I have two dogs that I absolutely love. I nearly drowned as a kid, but I love being in the water. If I let fear stop me from doing the things that I love, I would have never experienced just how fun and how beautiful life is. And if there was one thing that I learned from our friend who left us, is that life should be lived to the fullest. To live and love as if it was your last day. Because one day, it will be. So I got on that van, not knowing anyone there, not knowing how this trip would turn out. And it turned out to be one of the most unforgettable and amazing trips I've ever had. before the trip, I already knew exactly what design I wanted to get and where I wanted to get it. So my tattoo design right here is actually two parts. It's actually two different designs. The top part is what they call a ladder, and the bottom part is a python. So if you look on the underside of my arm, that's actually the head and its tail right there. So I'm gonna read it off so that it's a lot more accurate. So the ladder symbolizes ascension to heaven and achievement, while the python stands for protection, good fortune, and health. And I wanted it to encircle my right arm because I wanted it to be placed in a part of my body that everyone could see. And I would be lying if I said that I wasn't even just a little bit inspired by Wonder Woman's bracelets. So when I was talking about the design that I wanted to get and where I wanted to get it, I definitely got a lot of mixed reactions. A lot of them were, oh my gosh, can you do that? It's really painful to get a tattoo like right in this area, or even in this bony part, you know, that's very, very painful. Can you go through with it? Kaya mo ba na buo, like all the way around your arm? But, you know, despite what people were saying, I was so sure of what I wanted to get and where I wanted to get it. I was not gonna let anyone sway me. You know, if it was gonna be painful, bring on the pain. If I was gonna bleed, I was not going to complain, because the journey to get to Boscalan village and what I went through to go on this trip definitely outweighed several hours of severe discomfort. So when our experience officer said, all right, so who's gonna go first? And everyone was kind of quiet and kind of looking at each other, and he was like, Ray, you wanna go first? And for a split second, I wanted to say, no, let someone else go first. I mean, this is the first time that I'm getting a tattoo. I'd love to, you know, observe first. But what came out of my mouth was, let's do it. Yeah, let's go. So I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how painful it was gonna be, but I just sent a very, very quick prayer up to the heavens, to God, saying, Lord, kung sino man magtatattoo sa akin, please, sana magaan yung kamay niya, sana magaling siya, at sana makuha niya yung design na gusto ko, please. And yeah, it was a very, very shallow request, but you know, if you ask from your heart, ouch, you shall receive. And the tattoo artist who did my tattoo, she was absolutely amazing. Honestly, from her stenciling this up until her creating the tattoo, I was absolutely captivated. I was mesmerized. She did such an amazing job, and it was definitely a lot less painful than I expected. It's true what they say, that after a while things start to feel like very numb and your skin kind of gets used to the pain. But I will not be lying and say that I didn't feel any pain at all. I definitely felt pain, especially in this area and in this area. It felt like an electric current like ran through my body. Like I could feel the pain all the way to my face. It was that painful. But definitely, you know, being in good company and just trying to calm yourself down through talking to the different people around you definitely helped. And surprisingly, this whole process was actually, it felt quite therapeutic for me and very, very calming. It's like you're really appreciating what is happening to you at that given moment. You know, talking to the tattoo artist, talking to the people that you're with, appreciating the beautiful view of the mountain province. And I guess it also helped that there was absolutely no signal where we were. So it really forced us, you know, to just enjoy being present. I wasn't thinking about what would happen when I got home, tomorrow. Heck, I wasn't even thinking about what was gonna happen later that evening. I just wanted to enjoy what was happening in the moment. And I didn't want to be anywhere else than exactly where I was. So long story short, your girl got her tattoo and I got to meet Apo Wangod herself. Honestly, I was so starstruck. I didn't know what to say other than happy birthday, because it was her birthday the day before we arrived. And I gave her a gift and I also showed her my tattoo. People say that if Wangod doesn't like how a tattoo turns out, she would try to fix it herself. But if she liked how a tattoo looked, she would definitely say it. When she asked me if I got a tattoo and where it was, I showed her my arm, you know, swollen and all, and what she said made me feel kilig all over, as if I was the one who actually did the tattoo. So all she said was, "Ang ganda." And honestly, that just made my day, my week, my month, heck, it made my year. I was so happy to get that kind of approval from Apo Wangod herself. Fast forward to 2 weeks later and my tattoo is more or less pretty much healed up. Definitely everybody heals at a different pace, but right now I just have a few scabbing left, but the swelling and the pain is completely gone. I think the swelling went down around 4 to 6 days after I got my tattoo, and then the pain started to fade after a week, and then it just got incredibly itchy, but you have to make sure that you do not scratch your tattoo. Definitely the aftercare for your tattoo is very important on how the ink will show up on your skin. So let me know if you guys are interested in a Kalinga Tattoo aftercare video. I would definitely be more than willing to share it with you guys if you would find it helpful. So yeah guys, that is my Kalinga tattoo story and a manifestation for the year of 2022 that came a lot sooner than I expected. Thank you guys so much for joining me in today's video. I hope you found this helpful and insightful, and that it continues to encourage you to manifest great things in 2022. Also, if you guys liked the video, please feel free to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you feel like doing so. And I hope to catch you guys in the next one. Until then, stay safe and see you soon. Bye!